And we're going to move through that here shortly. Thanks for holding on until 1:10 if you're joining us through Zoom. So I thought I would go through a little bit of an overview of what the theme of these different Engaged Scholar talks have been about this semester. So each one kind of is highlighting work that's going on in one of our 4 interdisciplinary teams. But I thought I'd take the chance to give a little bit of an overview. So who's going to advance the slides here, and I'll kind of walk through a little bit here. So our topic today is service learning and community engagement. We have Sarah Marchetti, Director of SELF, as our lead speaker or guest. And we'll be highlighting that as the theme, but we'll also integrate that into U-Turn. Next slide, Quinn. So the 3 goals really are to introduce the engaged vision of U-Turn. This is a new depiction that we've been refining over the last year. And we have a new group that's formed through Team 4 that is kind of working together to move forward with broader community engagement efforts on campus. Then we're going to hear from Sarah to talk about SELF's efforts to enhance service learning and community engagement. And at the end, we'll share links with GivePulse. You'll notice I highlighted service learning and community engagement again in red because GivePulse is really a very powerful tool that we now have fully deployed across campus that facilitates service learning and community engagement. So I think it's a logical sequence there, and you'll hear what SELF's trying to do to promote broad engagement in service learning on campus, and also plans for a learning community in the fall. And then we'll also hear a little bit, I'll show you some demos of GivePulse. We have webinars and things that Bethany McCurdy kind of leads to train people on that. Slide, Quinn. So this is the original conception of U-Turn, is this kind of logic model here, and I thought I'd make sure everyone is aware of what U-Turn's about. So the vision of U-Turn is to build sustainable community systems that enable healthy lifestyles by empowering communities to take action informed by science. And our key point in this is this whole notion of transdisciplinarity. It's not just interdisciplinary, but we're really working towards transdisciplinary approaches that will build enhanced system capacity and sustainable community health impact. So the next slide shows this integrated kind of engaged vision. See that U-Turn is kind of in the middle, and you'll see the classic Venn diagram with research, learning, and outreach kind of connected. And we obviously want those to be as overlapping as possible. Our traditional academic departments and extension are at the top. And collectively, we're trying to disseminate evidence-based programming through translational research. But you see at the bottom, that's where we have this reciprocal relationship with community partners. So we have a link there that says ISU Community Campus Partnership for Health, as well as community industry partners. Collectively there, we want to enhance service learning opportunities, internships, entrepreneurial support for ISU students, faculty, and staff, and promote engaged learning. So really those 2 things go hand in hand as we fulfill the promise of an engaged institution. So I think we're only going to be successful in U-Turn to the extent that we can fully engage the community in the work we do. So we'll click to the next slide, please. So to that end, again, this is a depiction of U-Turn, and we've seen we have 4 different teams. Those are shown in the colored circles. The text doesn't show very well, but the corners show the key things we do. We change systems, we're engaging communities, impacting health, and advancing science. So here we'll be highlighting work in Team 4 that's kind of again focused on this community engagement. So this is the stated goal of Team 4, which is fostering participatory relationships with community partners to enable integration of science and practice. You see the buzzwords in the circle. These are from our original grant proposal of the key things we highlight. And you'll notice it says extension and outreach, community visioning, service learning, needs assessment, engagement. So we're going to be highlighting both of those today on service learning and engagement. So we're going to briefly, before I introduce Sarah, I also wanted to introduce Nancy Franz, who's a giant in the field of community engagement on campus. She's a retired professor, but she's here today, and she's joined our Team 4 hub. And I'm so thankful to have Nancy's expertise and involvement in this project. So she's, again, been a true leader in this from the very beginning, and she's lent us some books that we can keep in a community-engaged library, but I wanted Nancy to maybe say a few words and just comment on the history of this.
Sure, thanks, Greg. I'm really pleased to see this whole effort happening because it's about time that ISU got on board with some of this work. I handed Greg earlier today a journal called the Journal of Public Service and Outreach, dated spring 1996. It was the first conference that actually kicked off the community university engagement movement And so really we've had decades of expertise happening around the country and around the world that we can pull from. And I think we're at the right place at the right time for ISU to get on board. So I encourage you to take advantage of the wisdom each of you have, as well as the mutual therapy you need to do this work.
Thanks, Nancy. So Sarah, why don't you come up and we'll let you tell us what CELF's up to, and then we'll show a little bit about field calls and answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. When I was preparing for this talk, I thought, do you remember that moment that you wanted to enter higher education?
Maybe.
Seriously. Yeah, probably a series of things.
A little bit by accident.
Maybe by accident, probably by some good mentorship. I know in my case, it was very good mentorship, helped me realize the path I wanted to take. But it was actually a trip that I took. During my master's program, I was able to go to Ghana, West Africa. We started along the coastline, and then every week we moved up 1 week closer and closer to Burkina Faso. And during this experience, I'm not sure we call it exactly service learning, but we had a lot of the components. We worked with community members in creating mud homes and mud huts. We worked as the architecture students. We planned a charrette in which we designed a bench around a very old tree so that the students could sit on the bench and not ruin the tree roots. And we reflected on it. We kept journals, we talked. And I remember thinking after that experience, if this is what being a professor is, working with people, traveling abroad, and reflecting on this, I want it. And that really is what then helped me decide that I want to come into a PhD program and explore academia. I'm really thrilled to be here today and represent the Center for Excellence in Learning and Teaching. As we know, service learning is that deep community engagement where the community work is built into the curriculum, giving students real-world experiences that enhance their academic learning while providing a tangible benefit for the community. It must focus on partnership, on assessment, and on reflection. And what I reflected on is that students can deepen their own skills within a discipline, but they also deepen their interpersonal skills as they relate with other students, the faculty member, and the community members. We know that service learning is a high-impact practice. High-impact practices are correlated with higher rates of retention as well as student engagement. When we look into the literature, we know that the results of participating in high-impact practices are particularly striking for those students who come from underrepresented groups, as well as students who don't necessarily have that academic preparation that they need when they enter higher ed. Past research has found that students with lower ACT scores experience greater boosts to their grade point averages than peers with higher ACT. But we know it benefits all, right? All of these practices benefit all. If that's not enough motivation to participate in high impact practices, we know that the Iowa State University strategic plan states that students should be participating not just in one, but in 2 high impact practices. We know that there's a range of high impact practices. Iowa State does many of these very well. Capstone courses, learning communities, honors programs, internships, service learning, study abroad, and undergraduate research. As a center, I think we have had various attempts to help support service learning at the university. But what I'll talk to you about in a little bit is maybe our first program to really try to support this. Service learning at Iowa State, when we look at, and Greg, you might have more recent data than this, but this comes from the National Survey of Student Engagement from 2016. And when you compare first-year students with our Carnegie classification, you see that Iowa State students are doing more than peers in the Carnegie classification. By the time these students reach their senior or final year, we're just on par with those other peer doctoral granting research-intensive universities. So service learning at Iowa State. I'm thrilled to talk to you about our Engaged Faculty Institute. This is a program that is led by Campus Compact. Campus Compact is an organization that exists throughout the United States. We belong to the Iowa Campus Compact as well as the national organization. For the last 3 years, Campus Compact has offered this program at the University of Northern Iowa. And lucky for us, we get to be involved this year. It will be UNI, Iowa State, University of Iowa, as well as Wartburg College who are participating. The agenda on May 22nd will be led by Campus Compact, and this will be up in Cedar Falls. Their curriculum is set, and it's going to involve community engagement models, service learning and civic agency, reflection and assessment, library partnerships, as well as scholarship. We know that at a land-grant institution, it's very important for us to blend together our teaching, our research, and our service. So this is one opportunity that once you engage with service learning, well, we hope that will provide tools for how do you then write on this, how do you present it, how do you get that publication that then will help you in your promotion and tenure process. On May 23, my wonderful colleague Megan Myers is an assistant professor in world languages and cultures, as well as the Campus Compact Engaged Scholar. And we've been thinking and talking about what that half day at Iowa State's campus will look like. What we've come up with so far, and would love some input, this is still very much in the works, perspectives from successful projects. We know there's a lot at Iowa State, very long-running projects that have been going on. Social and service learning, as you know, Iowa State is a leader in the field of scholarship of teaching and learning. We have a lot of resources on that topic. That was one that we kind of came up with lions, buses, and butterflies, and that gets to the logistics of service learning, how sometimes it's challenging to coordinate buses, and if you've never worked with transportation services, you have to learn what to do. We hope to provide that opportunity. Course design, as I mentioned in the beginning, service learning isn't just a thing that you can go do. Wednesday afternoon, let's all meet over at some place. This really needs to be built into the curriculum. So we're hoping to provide the opportunity to have people work on their syllabi, really plan their course. What will this look like? And then I'll invite Megan Myers up to just chat about, again, this is all in the works, but what the learning community model might look like. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. And I should mention it's really great to connect with you, Sharon. I hope to network with more of you in the future. Again, my name is Megan Myers. I'm an assistant professor in world languages and cultures. I teach Spanish, also affiliate faculty in the U.S. Latin Studies program. Just a little bit of background of my own work in community engagement. I began working with local Latino Latina communities in Vermont and in Nigeria, so dairy farms, doing migrant outreach work there with families who recently immigrated to the United States. And I did different work when I was living in Nashville for the last 5 or 6 years. And 3 years ago, I moved to Iowa State to start a job here. I began to connect with the local Latino and Latina populations in our rural communities here in Iowa. So not only interested in the history of Latinos and Latinas in Iowa in these small rural communities like Perry, Denison, West Liberty, and Coastville, but I'm interested in engaging our students with those communities as well. So I should mention that I have a new course I'm teaching at Iowa State that is community engagement based. Students spend every other week facilitating a mentorship program with Perry High School students, mainly ESL, English as a Second Language programs. And I also teach a high impact study abroad, an LAS global seminar that focuses on social justice, education, and environmental sustainability in the Dominican Republic. It's a little bit of background, but again, I really look forward to networking and connecting with many of you who are going to be listening here today and in the future. But really why I'm here today, and thank you, Sarah, for inviting me, is to talk a little bit about the learning community. This expands on my work this year as a Campus Compact Engaged Faculty Fellow, and also on the work I've been doing with Sarah and others within the Engaged Institute. And our goal is kind of to create this hub for those who are interested in community engaged scholarship, being a community engaged scholar themselves, and who are, for the most part, doing this type of work in their classes. I think we found, and Greg, I think you would maybe second this, that oftentimes there hasn't been any one place to go to connect these resources in Iowa State. And I'm hoping that, I think this is a very similar goal of Future as well, we can connect these resources and connect individuals on campus who are doing this work, and also grow the network. So learning community will, again, build on many of the things that we'll talk about in the institute, but hopefully will integrate other faculty and staff who weren't able to attend the institute as well. So things that we might do in these monthly meetings will include possibly going through the process of applying for, submitting the form for an IRB, right, if we're doing research on this work in the course. Also, possibly having conversations with risk management as far as what navigating the possible forms needed to bring students into the community or to bring students onto the college campus, which sometimes they want more documentation that that's going on. So kind of navigating those, what can be really rough waters. Also continuing course design, talking more about building and constructing our syllabi for community engaged courses. And I think a big part of the learning community, at least as we're kind of envisioning it now, will also be just kind of the space for faculty and staff on campus who are doing engaged work to connect and also to reflect. I think we have our students reflecting because we know that's a really foundational part of community engaged work and service learning. But oftentimes the faculty members and staff as well will just talk a little about the time constraints, the challenges, and some of these just different issues we're facing when we're planning this type of work or working with community partners, which we know can be a challenge at times, especially as we're building these programs and these courses and new curriculums to be reciprocal and sustainable. It's a lot of work, so I'm hoping the learning community can speak to that and provide this kind of network at Iowa State. And then we can build also on a lot of these different initiatives that might be happening in different pockets or in different departments on our campus. So thanks again for inviting me, Sarah, and I'm looking forward to connecting more in the future.
I can finish.
Just want to mention Megan is also a Miller Donovan Fellowship recipient. That's a very competitive program that she is awarded to herself, so congratulations. We currently have, I believe, 9. We have 1 person who needed to drop out due to a family concern. So we would have room for 1 more person in the Engaged Faculty Institute. If anyone wants to join, they can just email me at svb@iastate.edu. This is a plan that we're going to pilot this, see how it goes. I'm thrilled that the learning community will be open to others, so we can have these monthly meetings to really get our minds around this, and we'll learn and then do it again in 2020. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah and Megan and Nancy. We're moving through pretty quick today, but I thought I added some slides at the end to also explain how GivePulse can maybe facilitate that. So again, tagline below that is designed to support service learning and community engagement. So I think many of you might have heard of GivePulse already, but if you haven't, you can go. It's one of our resources in U-Turn, and it's managed under our Team 4 hub. And we're doing webinars across campus regularly. Bethany McCurdy does a great job, and we have a tutorial there that explains how to use it. She would walk you through anything you need to know about how to use GivePulse. And the other benefit is that all the data from GivePulse, basically it aggregates up so we can start looking at the total number of impacts happening across departments or colleges or programs or in the FREAK system or in Crew Extension. And so we're starting to really spread it out pretty broadly. And maybe go through, so again, under Team 4, this is what we do as a key resource. So I'm just going to walk you through a couple slides that explain what it is. So GivePulse, you can Google it if you'd like, givepulse.com. It's a national tool. It's designed for campuses. So there's many service learning volunteer portals out there, but GivePulse is designed for campuses. It's designed with students in mind because there's an app that's built in for it, and it's really, you can compare the different features, but GivePulse comes out shining in almost any of these reviews. So it's an online portal for posting and tracking service opportunities, but it also tracks community engagement. So we can ask a community partner to post opportunities. Students would then see these opportunities, opt in, choose to do them, and it creates this dialogue between a student and a community partner. So that's been one of my experiences with service learning, and maybe you can see this. So sometimes students feel like, the faculty member, for example, is always in the middle, right? So we're trying to serve the students, but we're also trying to serve the community partner. And in my experience, I find it works better if I can step out of the middle and connect the student directly to the community partner and then have them reflect on that learning. Because otherwise, students see that I'm supposed to figure it out for them, and the community partner views that I'm supposed to figure it out for them. So the most important thing I've learned is to give the students very clear expectations on what they're supposed to do in their service learning, and also give clear expectations to the community partner on, okay, these are students, you're going to get as good as you get, or get as good as you give. So the more engaged and the better leader the community partner is, the better information and results they'll get. But it just creates that dialogue. So one of the real values of GivePulse for organizations or institutions like Iowa State is that all the impacts get added up and aggregated over time. So you can see, first of all, I'll show you the next slide. Click one more. So this shows the number of students that are currently enrolled in GivePulse since we kind of jumped on this back in 2014, 2015, let's say. We just started kind of from a grassroots level, and now over 4,000 or over 3,000 students are voluntarily on our GivePulse network. We just cleaned up the database to remove students that graduated, and so this is an active list. 3,000 out of 36,000 is a pretty good number of students that, again, opted in looking for ways to get involved. So that means about 1 out of 12, 1 out of 10 students. If you ask them in a class and said you're doing service learning, you'd say, we're going to be using GivePulse. 1 out of 10 is already going to know what it is. And they already have done something. And they already have an account. And for those that aren't already on GivePulse, it takes a whole 30 seconds for them to enroll. We've gone into like foundation classes and introduced GivePulse to students, and we say, take out your phones, go to single sign-on. It's all Okta approved. It's the same ISU email and password. Boom, they're in GivePulse right away. The second figure shows the total in hours and impacts registered on GivePulse. So there are two separate lines, but basically the trajectory starts going up. So the more students are on GivePulse, the total hours of service get tracked. These are kind of conservative numbers, probably of just those that have really logged their impacts over time. So you sometimes have to remind students to actually log their impacts. But the beauty for students is that their impacts actually show up on an individual portal or URL for them. So they can include a hyperlink on a job resume and say, I've got 100 verified hours of service. They're verified from community partners. And that means a lot more to a student or a prospective employer than if a student says, yeah, I helped out at a food pantry. Because these are verified hours, and they also have opportunities for built-in reflection. I'll give you an example of how this works. So I recently gave a talk to 4-H leaders across the state. So this is an example of how it could be used from a community partner's perspective across our whole ISU extension network. Envision every county having their own GivePulse hub. They still all have ISU emails, so all of their impacts will be aggregated at the ISU level. So say a 4-H leader in some county creates a page, then the leader posts an event. And so one of the big events that 4-H does is something at the state fair. So they need volunteers, right? So they create a volunteer at a fair opportunity, and they say, okay, we have 20 or 19 slots remaining, students should sign up. So a youth sees this post, and they hit I'm a volunteer, and they opt their name in over there. It shows the person to the right that that's what the student page looks like. And so now this student has opted in. The leader can then track the volunteers and see how many signed up. They can communicate with the students and say, oh, the event today was canceled due to weather, sorry. So they have a built-in channel that they can just click a button, track students that are enrolled, and communicate with them. Or afterwards, they can say, thanks for helping out. So basically, it creates this dialogue between the community and the student directly. Last week is then the student then records an impact and says, I attended, and then the leader gets a quick email that with a click of a button, they verify an impact. So the student, they get a quick email that would say, did so-and-so appear at the volunteer event? And the leader just checks the box, and boom, they're done. So it takes all of 2 seconds to actually verify an impact. And the students then see this on their portal, and then they can build in other reflections. So that's the essence of GivePulse. I was hoping Bethany would be here today, but she couldn't make it, and I left this slide blank for her. But I can talk a little bit about my experiences with it from a service learning perspective. So I've used GivePulse in the community health program planning class I teach. It's an upper division course. And I basically build in service learning, and every Wednesday the students are in their groups working on service learning with a county health partner. And so I basically, again, in terms of building it into the syllabus, it's every single Wednesday. So I don't do any, on Mondays I might give a lecture and overview. Wednesday service learning day, we roll up our sleeves and just focus on that, or they work in their groups, and then Friday we move on into other things. And it's a required part of my class with required reflections. But GivePulse makes this easy too, because we can pair, the students get paired with a county health leader across the state and work towards goals like community health needs assessments and health improvement plans that are common challenges for these counties. And so the students work and do whatever the county health partner needs that particular year. Some years it's to plan the assessment, some years it's to interpret the assessment or to plan a program. And so the students get a great experience regardless of what year they sign up. But GivePulse makes this really easy because I can have students click what county they want to work with, and the county then opts in, and they know that they have 5 students or 6 students. And then the dialogue happens between the students and the community partner each week. And students, I teach them to use Zoom just like this today, and they Zoom to their community partners. So even though the counties are all over the state, students have this personal experience and connection with these leaders. Again, the students can then track these impacts over time. So I'll maybe leave this slide with you and we could talk some more, but Bethany McCurdy is our GivePulse leader, and you can email her or I at givepulse@istate.edu. So we have a small hub set up, and again, most of this work is coordinated through this overall Team 4 hub that, again, Nancy, Sarah, and hopefully Megan, I'll add you as well to our community engagement hub. So what we're trying to do is be a larger entity that can help facilitate this broader community engagement at ISU. So it's not going to happen just from the U-turn side or the south side. It's got to have all of us coming together. Other people that are connecting with us include Jessica Bell, who works with the Broader Impacts effort through the Grants Hub. So any researcher that's submitting an NSF grant knows about broader impacts, and so we're trying to create a hub that makes it easy for faculty to actually operationalize the broader impacts components of their proposals. We're also working on the entrepreneurship efforts at ISU and are building partnerships across campus for that. So I guess, yeah, the summary is get engaged with U-turn outreach. But you guys have any additional comments or questions on that?
I have a question about GivePulse.
Okay.
I'm wondering if some students then, let's say a student opted in, right? It's one of the 3,000 students that has broken on GivePulse. And let's just make it a scenario here. If it's a student who might be in a sorority or fraternity and has required hours of service in the community, it's not related to the course, right? But they need to log these service hours. Is that something that you envision, or in your experience, that GivePulse students are also tracking?
Yeah, they are.
The record of their service, regardless of their sex.
Exactly, and they get aggregated under both of those umbrellas, so you can have a way to avoid double counting. But if they're in a fraternity and they want to track fraternity hours, they can, but that student can also track their own hours. Or if they're in the College of Human Sciences, they get aggregated under the College of Human Science umbrella. But it avoids the double counting when you look at the total across the institution. But yeah, it works great, and the Greek system is one of our strongest partners because they have this direct need to track impacts. So does 4-H, and so does a lot of student clubs have a need to do this, that have philanthropic goals across campus. So that's probably where we have the largest traction right now is the Greek system and student clubs. That's one of our largest is blood drive. I'm not sure if that's what's going on in the union right now, but it was an amazing, literally it took the blood drive people said, we need a way to sign people up. We turned them on to GivePulse. After an hour-long demo, they've been up and running, and they enroll 600 people that have to enroll in GivePulse, and then they sign up for their slots. So it works for them, and it makes it really easy for them to track volunteers that are opting in.
Are you seeing any research uses? I used to have student volunteers all the time on my research projects, and they would have to keep a log of their hours. Can that be done?
Yes, we've done that as well. So in my labs, say you take on undergrad research assistants, if I say, okay, let's have you just track your hours. I can't keep track of when you're in, and I want you to be able to account for all of them. So it's not as much me being heavy-handed, but also just having them document that they've worked X number of hours in a lab. So yeah, I set up a lab account, and the students just check those hours that they work in the lab, and I can verify the impacts, and they get aggregated up at the department level. Yep, and students get a record of that then they can show that they've worked in a lab before, so it has multiple uses.
Well, then you could translate that directly to your report to your funding.
Yeah, to say that students were involved, how many hours, and those impact graphs, I didn't show them all, but there's some really cool heat maps also that show where the activities were taking place. See that here. Yeah, we could move down to discussion and reflection here. But yeah, the GivePulse is a very, very powerful tool. So we're just looking for this broader group on campus to help us make people really aware that it exists. So we can't do that ourselves. We kind of need to engage with every dean, with leaders on campus, with extension, through CELT, through the VPR's office, and make people aware. So we're hoping to take our GivePulse channel to places that it hasn't been before, and that's really why the company has been working with us. So they really like our vision of doing this across the state through extension. So in many places you can look and see GivePulses. There's pockets of it at many universities, but we're trying to be the first state to really connect through the extension model, using it in a land grant capacity where every county can have their own pod of GivePulse users. And so envision that again, like the state fair, that there could be kids in high school, they're opting into a 4-H club in some county far away from Ames, but they can be tracking their data, and GivePulse can be tracking their impacts as well.
Our online participants say thank you, but they don't have any questions right now.
Okay, I guess we'll call it a day, and thanks everyone for listening in. Well, it's fun talking to all